Hello and welcome to News Center. I'm Archana Solanki. The cloud over who will be the next Maharashtra Chief Minister has cleared after 11 days. Devendra Fadnavis is all set to become the next Chief Minister of Maharashtra. The swearing-in ceremony will take place tomorrow evening at Mumbai's Azad Maidan. Prime Minister Modi will be attending the swearing-in ceremony. Earlier in the day, the BJP's legislative party chose Devendra Fadnavis as their leader, paving the way for him to become the Chief Minister for the third term. His second term as a chief minister had lasted just 48 hours. Fadnavis, flanked by Eknath Shinde and Ajit Pawar, met Maharashtra Governor C.P. Radhakrishnan to stake claim to form the next government. This comes after a week of suspense and hectic parleys between the alliance partners. Addressing a press briefing later, Fadnavis thanked Ajit Pawar for accepting the offer to become the deputy chief minister. However, Eknath Shinde is keeping the suspense going. There is still no clarity if he will be part of the new government. The press briefing also stood witness to some light-hearted banter among the leaders.
कल मैं स्वयं माननीय हमारे मुख्यमंत्री एकनाथ शिंदे जी के पास गया था और एकनाथ राव जी को मैंने ये निवेदन किया था कि हम सभी की इच्छा है कि इस सरकार में वे स्वयं हमारे साथ रहे। शिवसेना के भी विधायकों की इच्छा है और महायुति के भी विधायकों की इच्छा है और मुझे पूर्ण विश्वास है कि वो हमारे साथ रहेंगे।
क्या आप और अजीत पवार साहब भी कल डिप्टी सीएम पद की शपथ लेंगे?
अरे भैया, अभी तो कहा, देवेंद्र जी ने भी कहा, मैं भी कह रहा हूँ, रुको थोड़ा, अभी शाम तक रुको, अभी कल शपथ ली है ना।
शाम तक उनका समझ में आएगा, मैं तो लेने वाला हूँ। मैं रुकने वाला हूँ।
दादा को नहीं, अरे भाई, दादा को अनुभव है, दोपहर शाम को भी लेने का और सुबह भी लेने का।
Right, that was some light-hearted banter between the leaders. The Ladki Bahin scheme, where the state paid women 1,500 rupees per month, has been credited for the Mahayuti's resounding victory. This scheme is likely to cost the exchequer 46,000 crore rupees. This is more than 1% of the state's GDP and far higher than the state's budget for the entire agriculture sector of more than 35,000 crore rupees. Ladki Bahin is not the only welfare scheme. The state is spending 10,000 crore rupees on youth work training program and nearly 15,000 crore rupees providing free electricity to farmers. According to a report by Emkay Global, Maharashtra spends 19% of its revenue on welfare schemes. 55% of the revenue goes into paying salaries and pension for government staff along with other interest costs. This leaves just 26% of the revenue to be spent on capital expenditure and other projects. In June this year, the Maharashtra Finance Department had raised the red flag on the state's fiscal health. But then Chief Minister Eknath Shinde dismissed the concerns. Take a look.
स्टेटमेंट देने का काम हमारा होता है और अजीत दादा पवार फाइनेंस के मिनिस्टर है, डिप्टी चीफ मिनिस्टर है, उन्होंने उसमें उनके स्टेटमेंट में कहा है कि हमारी सरकार जो है पूरी तरह जो स्कीम लागू है उसको पूरा करने में सक्षम है। और मैं भी बताता हूं कि पूरी स्कीम के लिए फंड का प्रोविजन हमने कर रखा है।
So can the new Maharashtra government resurrect the state's finances? To take this discussion forward, I'm joined by Madhavi Arora, lead economist, Emkay Global Financial Services. Also joining us on the broadcast are BJP Spokesperson Shweta Shalini, Shiv Sena Spokesperson Shah, and Congress Spokesperson Atul Londhe Patil. Thank you so much for making time and speaking to CNBC TV18. Madhavi Arora, I would like to start with you first. We've spoken about Maharashtra's fiscal health in detail. In your view, how bad is the situation right now, and what should be the new Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis's immediate priority once he takes oath tomorrow?
Hi, thank you. Well, to be fair, Maharashtra has been extremely fiscally responsible state. You know, historically, if you look at the fiscal deficit of the state, it has rarely crossed 2% in the past decade. If you, remove the COVID years. And at the same time is one of the few states which have a very healthy own tax revenue to GDP ratio, which basically means that the dependence on central government's grant and devolution has been relatively lower than, say, other states. And generally, it has been very conservative in its budget estimation as well. If you look at this year's as well, they've taken a pretty, realistic assumption with regard to their SGST revenue growth, which is far more realistic than, say, 18% that on an aggregate basis states have taken. So on the revenue side, they still have taken a very optimistic and a very conservative budget estimation, which basically means that they're, if assuming that they are, able to spend in line with the budget estimate, they would still be able to comfortably reach this year's target. That said, this year itself, they have budgeted a much higher fiscal deficit than their, past trends, which is close to 2.6% of GDP. Now, and this is a modified budget, which basically came again after they announced the Ladki Bahin scheme. As of now, if you look at the Maharashtra's parameters on fiscal in the first half of the year, as of now, there's not seen to be much of a problem, partly because, to some extent, they have also constrained their spending in capital expenditure, in other revenue expenditure, apart from the schemes that they are basically focusing on with regard to development of certain segment of the economy, and the revenue stream also has been relatively okay. So even if they continue to go ahead with the scheme this year, at this point in time, at least on the budgetary numbers point of view, they may be able to achieve a 2.6% of GDP, which is budgeted as per them. But that said, compared to the historical trend, which has been extremely responsible in terms of the fiscal parameters, and given that they actually have the lowest debt to GDP ratio compared to other states, this generally leads to a bit of a skewed behavior of Maharashtra, towards revenue expenditure compared to capital expenditure. And if they go ahead with the Ladki Bahin scheme allocation increase to 2,100 rupees per month, there would be a 40% increase in their allocation overall, which means that at this point in time, this particular scheme is around 1.1% of the state GDP. It will move to a 1.3%. So overall, it will just essentially lead to much more pressure on the fiscal side. And clearly, if assuming that the revenue bit looks to be a little challenging in terms of further growth here on, you would probably see the capital expenditure being the casualty for the state, and that's where the worry is. You cannot continue to move your spending towards revenue expenditure as against capital expenditure, where there has been a big lag over the past decade, and specifically the last 5 years, because they haven't really had a very strong political mandate.
Right. Thank you for weighing in on that. I would like to bring in Shweta Shalini, BJP spokesperson. Shweta Shalini, congratulations on the big breakthrough. Finally, the state knows who the next chief minister is going to be. On the economy front, your own finance department has warned that the state's fiscal deficit is in a very severe position. Do you think that the state government is going to seriously consider it as far as these schemes are concerned, which many are calling freebies?
I'm not the economist on the panel, but I just heard the economist on the panel, and I just heard her say that all things aren't as rosy as it looks, but it is definitely not black. And hence, I think the market surge that you actually saw from 1.2% to 2.3% in Maharashtra actually tells the story of how Maharashtra is going to look and how the markets in Maharashtra is actually perceiving this big win of Mahayuti. Having said that, please understand that Maharashtra contributes to about 14 to 15% of the GDP of the country. Also, a stable government and the credibility of the name Devendra Fadnavis. I think the FDI flows in Maharashtra has been phenomenal. It is the highest in the country. It will give a big boost to the industrial sector, which again Maharashtra is leading. So having said that, 1.3% of the GDP towards social schemes is something that the government has actually planned for. In fact, you will see under the Mahayuti Sarkar of Devendra Fadnavis, Ajit Pawar and Eknath Shinde ji, you will see a huge strive towards growing the industrial base, towards making it the startup capital, towards making Mumbai the fintech capital, and eventually increasing the entire top revenue of the entire state. And I feel it's historical mandate. Maharashtra needed to give a mandate like this. The people understand the pluses that come with a stable government, and I think this is what we are here for. We are all rejoicing as members of Bharatiya Janata Party.
Right. To counter this, let me bring in Atul Patil of the Congress. You heard an economist as well as the BJP spokesperson on the panel as the opposition in the state of Maharashtra, but you're also doing the same in Jharkhand as well. How are you going to balance economics with politics in Jharkhand, but counter the same in Maharashtra?
It requires innovative minds and requires commitment towards the finances of the state, which we don't find in with the BJP. You know, 2-3 points I would like to add to Madhavi's, who was actually explaining the state of economy in Maharashtra. Our GDP has fallen down from 12 to 13% growth rate to 7.2% in last few years. When Devendra Fadnavis was at the helm of affairs, GDP was not growing at the fast. And the second thing is GDP is on a saturation, already reached on a saturation point. So there are few hurdles. How Devendra Fadnavis will handle it, the future will tell us. But I think if Gujarat puts pressure, two person from Gujarat, who is Prime Minister and Home Minister of the country, they are pressurizing Maharashtra to take out all their projects to Gujarat. We have seen Vedanta, Foxconn, like there are so many projects. Near about the cost of 10 lakh crore project has been already shifted to Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh and MP, BJP ruling states, number one. And number two is our revenues are stagnated and revenue expenditure has increased, whereas capital expenditure is decreasing day by day. And we are reached already 19 to 20% of tax to GDP ratio. So this is the actual state of economy, Maharashtra economy today at present. You just go through it, Maharashtra economic survey. Every state has its own economic survey. And I'm talking about those economic survey only. One more scheme they have declared, which I don't think they're going to fulfill it or not. Complete waiver of farmer loan. That is going to be another burden on this government, because without taking into cognizance whether they are in a position to do that or not, they have declared that they will completely waive off the farmer loan. I don't have a complete figure with me, but of late that loan is also increased with the farmers, and I don't know how they are going to fulfill it, but we'll definitely make them to fulfill their promise, because we are opposition and they have promised farmers of Maharashtra. So just we are looking forward how they will fulfill their promises. So these are the main challenges, and main challenges to Gujarati people who are pressurizing Maharashtra.
Right, you will keep a vigil. Let me bring in Shiv Sena spokesperson Suspense. We heard that very interesting comment by Mr. Eknath Shinde in that press conference with Mr. Ajit Pawar कि इनको तो सुबह शाम दोनों oath लेने का experience है, but nobody knows when or if Mr. Eknath Shinde will take oath. For the benefit of our viewers, for the benefit of our national audiences, could you please end the suspense around Mr. Eknath Shinde?
Very good evening to all, and thank you for having me on your show. Good evening to my esteemed panelists as well. Well, Eknath ji is our Pramukh Neta, and we rely on his wisdom that he would take the right decision. We have time and again beseeched him, requested him, and even passed resolution to that effect by all the MLAs and all the Karyakartas that he should be part of the government, because for the past 2.5 years, he has spearheaded the government by sheer hard work and real leadership. And as far as Ladki Bahin program is concerned, be rest assured, it will remain the flagship program of the government. And whether Gujarat or Gujarati, the false narrative spread by my friend Atul Bhai, I must say this, that it was because of the non-working, non-functioning of the erstwhile Uddhav Thackeray government, who just meant 5 days to the Mantralaya. That is why a multi-million-dollar conglomerates, they left Maharashtra within 1 month of we taking oath. Such decisions are never taken overnight. It was within 1 month. But I must also add in the same breath that Diamond Bourse, since this government under the leadership of CM Eknath sir had taken the leadership, Diamond Bourse has come back. Let me assure you this, that Maharashtra is the only way for the way towards a 5 trillion economy is through Maharashtra, and under the leadership of Devendra Fadnavis ji and our Pramukh Neta Eknath ji and Ajit Dada, you will see this will be 5 years of progress, prosperity, peace, stability. It is, I would also say, it is a win of dharma over adharma, truth over falsehood. So therefore, you will see how the narratives changes in Maharashtra. This is a government which has the experience of Devendra Fadnavis ji, experience of Ajit Dada, and our Pramukh Neta, who's called the common man and was not called the CM of Eknath Shinde ji. So Maharashtra is poised towards growth, progress, and madam, the Ladki Bahin scheme that has been offered is a Sanman Dhan. It's a privilege. It's a celebration of womanhood, because it are these women who spend years and days and months looking after the family, ensuring that the family and the family members prosper. They become an earning member of the society, and therefore it is a give back. It is a recognition to these women. So therefore they are not reveries, that it is an investment of womanhood. Then let me assure you, this 1500 and now soon to be 2100 will further boost the growth of the economy, because it will be spent by these women towards productive work, and because it is given to the woman, don't mind me Atul bhai, but it will not go towards wining and dining or womanizing, but it will go towards welfare of the family.
Okay.
Because it's
now,
a woman who's in charge.
Okay. Thank you for weighing in on this. Now, I want to very specifically pose this question to both the BJP and the Shiv Sena spokesperson on the panel. And I would urge you to be really honest, but it's a long shot, but I'll still try. For the benefit of our viewers, because there was a lot of suspense. For 11 days, we did not know what was happening. There were meetings, late night meetings. Nobody knows. Some suspicious posters coming up for CM's face. If the BJP spokesperson could help our viewers understand what was the reason that was causing the delay between Mr. Shinde and Mr. Devendra Fadnavis, what really happened? Did the last night conversation, the meeting change at all, that we have a decision now? What really happened there?
See, good things always take time, right? You're a woman, I'm a woman, I'm a mother. It took me 9 months to create a baby, right? So whenever good things are created, specifically something like this, as big as the government in Maharashtra, with such a historical win, obviously it took some time, but all is well that ends well, and I'm sure Eknath Shinde ji is a part of the government, will be a part of the government, and it is under his leadership that we have won this mandate. It is him who has named Devendra Fadnavis ji as the new CM face. So I think all is great. And we are looking at great times. Having said that, I must put this forward. My dear friend Atul Londhe ji said two things. One, I don't know if BJP now in power will fulfill the promise they made to the farmers. So I need to remind him, we are not Congress and this is not Himachal or Karnataka. We will definitely, this is the government led by Devendra Fadnavis and Eknath Shinde ji and Ajit Pawar ji, and hence you will see that everything we have promised will be fulfilled, except we will work harder. We will ensure that the global, Maharashtra leads the way in the global south and becomes the first $1 trillion economy as well.
All right. So the BJP spokesperson is quite optimistic, saying all is well. We'll take a short break, but once we are back, we'll speak with the Shiv Sena spokesperson and other panelists to know if all is well in the state. Stay tuned. We'll be back. Welcome back. Madhavi Arora of Emkay Global Financial Services, BJP spokesperson Shweta Shalini, Shiv Sena spokesperson Suspense and Congress spokesperson Atul, Londhe, Patil are still with us on the show. Madhavi, if there's one piece of advice, just one piece of advice quickly for the new Chief Minister, what would that be?
So, I mean, as everybody's talking about here on the panel, I think it overall, this MYA victory actually bodes very well for Maharashtra in the medium term. The state has suffered due to fractured political mandate in recent years. and its performance and growth and infra parameters actually has started lagging other states. So I think with BJP-led coalition now in office, both Maharashtra government as well as in center, I think the consolidated political capital should really augur well for a much better focus state-specific issues. And probably they should ideally start expediting infra spending, which had sort of fallen prey to political situation. But as I said, they will be having a lot of challenges with regard to the fiscal pressure because that will only intensify. Now, going ahead, if you're getting into, the doles economy wherein there's some kind of a non-merit subsidies which is leading the show, it will have a cost in some form or the other. So I think the biggest challenge for them is to ensure that they do not fall prey to the, the doles led spending and actually focus on infra bit, because that is where the massive lag has happened in the last 5 to 7 years, where the state has seen a fractured political mandate. I think that's the first thing for them to really take care of, because clearly the state has been a leader in terms of investment in the past, and last 5 years were massive laggards. And they'll have challenges because, clearly, as you were also mentioning from our report, that at this point in time, they're sitting with almost 65% of their total revenue receipts basically blocked in committed spend, which is pension, salaries, interest payments, and other subsidies. And that is only going to mount going ahead, in case if they intend to increase the allocation to certain non-merit subsidies, and which will essentially imply that capital expenditure will be a big casualty. So the first and foremost advice for me is that they should start focusing on increasing their capex, because if I look at the state's own spending on capital expenditure, it is around 1.5% of GDP in the last 5 years, which is lower than the aggregate level state spending on capital expenditure. Of course, I understand that there's a lot of private sector spending that happens in the state, and also the PSUs of states also spend over and above this spending by the state. But I think the biggest challenge for them is to ensure that their capital expenditure, trends up again and sort of takes care of the lagging infra parameters that we are seeing in the state in the last 5 years or so.
Right. Mr. Atul Londhe Patil, do you think that this is going to be, again, a fresh start for the opposition, and your piece of advice for the new government that's going to take shape tomorrow? Quickly.
See, Maharashtra is an economic hub, and if they go innovatively with innovations as far as the capex expenditure is concerned, the Maharashtra really can bear all the burdens of what we call revdi. Revdi is the word given by Honorable Prime Minister. So it's thanks to Sushiben that she has sent a message to Prime Minister. This is not a revdi, and this is a Samman Nidhi for Ladki Bahin. I don't know why this brother has become disliked one like Navarta so fast. Because he has not cleared whether he is joining the cabinet or not, and we are hearing that they will support from outside. This is the present situation which we know from the inner sources of Sushiben. So Sushiben, I have two questions for you. Number one, why Vedanta Foxconn has left Maharashtra? 15th of July, High Power Committee has taken a meeting along with the Vedanta Foxconn CEO, and they have decided all the facilities would be given to them. What happened next day? Next day, Vedanta Foxconn Agrawal was called in by Prime Minister in Delhi, and they announced from Delhi that they are shifting their project to Gujarat. Why all financial headquarters are in Mumbai? When all financial headquarters is in Mumbai, why International Financial Center has been shifted to Gift City?
Okay, we'll let her answer.
These are the two questions. Please answer these two questions.
Atul bhai, number one, you are not a compare. Archana should be asking questions. And
no, I
asked you for a piece of advice, but he had counter questions to you. So.
I have every
No, but I'm not running away from the question.
People are in power. You people are in power.
Atul bhai, I'm not running away from the question.
I don't know whether you people will be in a power or not, but I have every right to ask you a question.
No, power or we are in power.
How can you deny?
Okay, let's not.
का जोड़ है, न कभी टूटेगा. आप क्यों चिंता करते हो?
What you sow is what you reap. What you sow is what you reap is happening with you.
न कभी टूटेगा, न कभी छूटेगा. ऐसा हमारा जोड़ है. आप क्यों चिंता करते हो, नतुल भाई?
2.5 साल तक आपके लिए अलग था.
नहीं. हमेशा.
Okay, what we'll do is we'll refrain from. Yeah, what we'll do is we'll refrain.
You were with us 2.5 years back. Now suddenly it has become a pakka joke.
Atul bhai, come to the point, my dear fellow.
Yeah.
Be a gallant loser. Be a gallant loser. Come on.
Gallant, बाजीगर, क्या बात है?
Gallant loser, I said. Anyway,
The perfect
coming back
place for
to
you
this,
is what you sow is what
and
you reap.
Atul bhai,
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we don't have enough time for this. I'm so sorry. Quickly, in one sentence, in one line, if you could wrap up. We don't have enough time on this broadcast. Yes, Susi Bencha, please, your concluding remarks.
Gujarat is a part of India. It is not that the investments have
Okay.
gone somewhere else. 52% of the total FDI, even today, comes to Maharashtra. That only happened after this Mahayuti Sarkar took charge. As far as Foxconn is concerned,
Right.
let me tell you this. It was not decided over that meeting. It was not our PM sir who ordered that. They realized that the instability has cost him a lot of loss of funds, and that is why they took this decision. And let me assure you, like the diamond bourse has come back, everything, all
yes.
investments are going to come back to Maharashtra. We are firmly on the saddle and assuring every Maharashtrian through CNBC
All
that
right.
we will be the most progressive state of Maharashtra.
Yes, we're going to keep these recordings handy, and we will hold the government to account as far as Maharashtra's economy is concerned. Thank you so much for joining us on the panel. Thank you so much for making time. It was lovely to speak with you all. Thank you.